It's definitely cool. I'm glad we decided to wear waders.
This week on Kentucky Afield.
Here's one.
Got him.
We're breaking out the gigs, but not for frogs. We'll be jumping in the creek and searching for rough fish. Next, we'll try our luck on Lake Cumberland.
I'm throwing this little crawfish imitator, just kind of following behind you a little bit.
Fishing for black bass. Then, this year's batch of Peregrine Falcon chicks have hatched, so we'll be tagging along with biologists to see what a workup looks like. It's all next on Kentucky Afield.
Kentucky Afield. Every week, Kentucky Afield brings you features on hunting and fishing across the state.
That's my pup. I'm proud of him.
Here he comes right there. Let's get ready. Get ready. Look at that. What a nice fish. Hey, we dug it up right there. We did. There he is. Ooh, a nice one, too. Boy, he's healthy.
What do we got?
That was awesome. Got the first help.
Got one. Big smallmouth.
Very nice.
Double point. They're in there.
There they go.
Oh, my gosh. Woo! Look at that joker. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Whoa, this is a good one.
That's better than good, Chad.
Hello, and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles. Join us as we journey the Commonwealth in search of outdoor adventure. There are many different ways to catch a fish, but one of the more unique and oldest forms of fishing is by fish gigging. Once you learn the season dates and which fish may be taken, fish gigging is definitely worth giving a try. We're here in Madison County today, and I'm here with fish biologist Scott Barrett. Scott, you've been telling me about an old tradition that old timers used to do a lot, and I know you used to do it as a kid as well, and that is gigging for fish.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of people gig for frogs.
Right.
But gigging for fish is a little different. It's at night.
Yeah.
We're going to be wearing waders. We're going to be out in the stream. We're going to have lights out, maybe some lanterns, and a fish gig, which is a little different than a frog gig. Tell me what a fish gig is and what makes a good one.
You know, you think of a frog gig, just think of like a beefier frog gig. You want something that's a little more robust. I have a couple that were hand-me-down. One of mine was my grandpa's. The thing's 80 years old, and I still use it today. But you want something robust. You hit a lot of rocks. And unlike frogs, you know, you're kind of poking them in a mud bank. These guys are in a rocky bottom stream and you're having to put quite a bit of force.
I brought a lantern and a flashlight. I don't know what's going to work best. You tell me what I need when we get down there, and that's what we'll use.
We'll do it. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
You know, I've always been one of those people that don't like to get into cold water real slow. I like to just go all out.
Well, it's definitely cool. I'm glad we decided to wear waders.
Here's one.
Got him.
A gar.
Yeah, I think you got him. There you go. Kind of hold him up, let gravity help you. Yeah, and
There
then
we go. So this is a long-nosed gar right here, right?
Yep.
We're after rough fish, trying to can some fish.
Yeah.
Have you ever canned one of these?
I've not canned one, but may be a good candidate to try.
Are you willing to give it a try?
Absolutely.
Well, if that's the case, I'll put it on a stringer.
We'll string him up.
See what we got.
Absolutely. Here's your gar, Chad. See him turning towards you, coming right at you.
Here, you want to hold this lantern
Yep.
for me? See what we got here.
Yeah, you got him.
Good eye, Scott, because I didn't even see that fish. Well, it looks like we're going to be having gar croquettes
That's
today.
it. That's what it's looking like. That's what
You know, a lot of these fish that we were kind of hoping to see, the real sweeter, milder tasting fish, they're up here to spawn.
Yeah.
And even though it's cold out,
Yeah.
and the water temperature is pretty cold, the water has already been warm enough they've kind of moved up. So we're just seeing the last couple lingering fish. So hopefully we hit a pocket and see some more. Otherwise, we're going to have to make do with gar tonight.
That's what it's looking like, yeah. Had him. That's it.
There you go. We'll have a mess before you know it. A mess of something.
Something. And there he's got a minnow in his mouth. Yep.
Got him?
Yeah. He's now got a gig in him too.
Well,
shad. Had a shad in his mouth.
Boy, they're all about the same size, ain't they?
Yeah.
Watch yourself, Chad. This hole is full.
There may be one just swim right up to you.
There we go.
Gar hole.
Gar hole.
Won't be long.
We brought him to a gar hole.
There's one right there. Got one here and one right up in front of you. Yep, two of them.
Miss, coming back at you.
See him right here? There you go.
Got him.
Kind of one right there, right now.
There's my
Headshot.
noggin.
You got that one. We got him. Here we go.
Got him. Here comes another one down. I got him good.
Yes, you did.
Heard that crunch. Unreal how hard they are, bony they are.
We have found the honey hole for the gar. If we can just find some suckers or some catfish like this, boy, we'd be on to something. Well, you guys want to just go up about another 100 yards and maybe go back and see if we can't pick those up?
We can do that. We gotta go back that way anyway, so.
All right. Recently, I went to Lake Cumberland and shared the boat with an old friend, Creed Fowler. Fishing conditions were tough, but we were able to catch some fish and have a beautiful day on the lake. This morning, we're out here on beautiful Lake Cumberland, and I'm fishing with my fishing buddy, Creed Fowler. Creed, I know you spend a lot of time on Lake Cumberland. You fished it your entire life. And it's May, late May. Tell me what phase the bass are in right now.
Well, mostly post-spawn. Water 72 degrees right now. It's been running the 60s through most of April, but we had a pretty warm stretch over the last week or so, and it's got it warmed up in the lower 70s, so most of these fish are post-spawn. I'm sure like almost all the smallmouth spots are post-spawn. There's probably still some largemouth spawning, but they're about done.
Okay. So this time of year, I know you like to fish this time of year. What kind of conditions do you look for, and what type of techniques do you like to use?
A lot of different techniques. You know, as fish start to get active again, you know, I enjoy fishing topwater if they'll hit that kind of stuff. What I'm hoping today, especially with the sunshine, is that they'll hit a floating worm. That, you know, I don't know what it is about the sunny conditions in a floating worm post-spawn, but it seems on days like this that can be a good bite, and it's a lot of fun too. But you know, plastics, you know, sometimes if it's tough, you get out a Ned rig or shaky head, something like that.
We're going to be throwing in and around areas where there should be some fry, and hopefully we're going to be potentially finesse fishing, but if we have to power fish them, we will, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's give it a go.
Here he is.
Got him?
Here, I got that one.
There you go.
A little fish.
That's all right. It looks like a spot.
Little Kentucky, yeah.
Oh, there he goes right there. Hey, he was on it. Oh, he's a little one. You know what, that felt like a fairly small fish, and when he hit it, I normally don't like to wait, but these little fish, to get to the hook, sometimes you gotta let them swallow it a little bit.
Another Kentucky.
Kentucky spotted bass. Little bitty, just a little flick of that bait. There you go. Hopefully they get a lot bigger today. Oh man, big hook set, little fish. So I'm throwing this little crawfish imitator, just kind of following behind you a little bit. This fish hit your lure.
I didn't get a hook in it though.
I see why you missed him, because it ain't much to it. But you know what? Trying to figure out what they're going to eat, that's part of the game, right?
That's right.
It's a better fish.
All right.
don't know what this is. Oh, it's a catfish. What do you know? Channel catfish. No, that was not what I was expecting. Yeah. How often you catch a channel catfish on a crawfish imitating soft plastic?
Yeah, I've caught them on a lot of different bass baits, but not that often.
I wish it was a bass, but you know what? If you wanted a catfish sandwich, that right there is about the perfect eating size channel, you know.
Yeah.
You got him. Another spot. What we've been catching is spots and catfish.
Little ones, yeah.
But you know what? They're still fun, especially on a spinning rod. Check out that gar right there. I'm gonna try casting this worm over it. That was pretty crazy. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's a fish.
What do we got here?
A little smallmouth?
I think it's a smallmouth.
Yeah, just a little one.
Yep, another little fish. A little bit better though than we've been catching, but that ain't saying much, is it? Well, we've got them to 13 inches now. Maybe we're about ready to put on something though.
It's going the right direction.
Yep, that's right. Got it?
Yep.
That's a little better fish.
Smallmouth.
There you go.
I think, isn't that? Or is that? That's largemouth. That's largemouth. Sure it is.
That's a largemouth. Sure is. So what he hit? Ned rig?
Ned rig.
So was that fish on the bottom or up a little bit?
On the bottom.
Okay. And that
Colored up.
fish looks like that's a spot, right?
I thought it was a largemouth. Now it's a spot. It's got a tongue patch on it.
It's a spot, but it really kind of looks like it's got a lot of smallmouth color in it.
Yeah.
Almost looks like a smallmouth bass. Huh.
A little better one.
A little better fish, yeah. If you fish Cumberland, everybody knows this lake can be extremely good. It can be tough, and today we found some fish. We just didn't find the right ones, did we?
Didn't find any big ones today.
But you know what? I haven't spent too many days on Cumberland that I regret. It was a good day, beautiful day on the water. We just didn't catch the right fish. But hey, that's part of it, isn't it?
That's fishing.
The Peregrine Falcon is the world's fastest bird, and there are several nesting pairs right here in Kentucky, one of which is at the LG&E facility on the Ohio River. You can tune in and see these chicks, which just recently hatched, live on YouTube.
Peregrine Falcon is, I'm gonna go with the fastest animal in North America. It can dive at speeds of well over 200 miles an hour. They are bird eaters. They're like streamlined jet fighters.
Peregrine falcons eat birds, and so they are extremely fast flyers so that they can catch their prey on the wing. They like to live at these power generating facilities because there's a lot of pigeons and starlings here, and oftentimes they're welcomed here because the utility companies like to see pigeons and starlings knocked back a little bit. Their wingspan is 3 feet or so. Not a real large bird, but they can have a large personality that makes them seem bigger than they actually are.
If you go back far enough, peregrine falcons were essentially extinct in Kentucky. And the last known peregrine falcon nest was found in 1939, I believe. And then until the 1990s, they were functionally extinct in Kentucky.
The decline was really for a lot of reasons. Habitat loss is always an issue, but we were also still seeing the effects of the insecticide DDT that had been used and caused their eggshells to thin. And for birds that only reproduce one time a year, it's pretty catastrophic if your nest fails. In Kentucky, we didn't have a nesting pair much after the 1940s.
In the 80s, all the way up until the early 2000s, there was an effort to reintroduce the species to Kentucky called hacking. This is where you would take chicks and raise them in captivity and then release them as subadults into the wild, just hoping that they would nest somewhere throughout the state. The first actual nesting pair was in 1997 in Louisville. There was a bridge here that they laid eggs on. And then from there, they kind of just exploded back throughout the state.
And that recovery is mostly attributable to the companies that help support these nesting boxes that the birds are using.
LG&E was one of the earliest kind of partners with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife to reestablish them in Kentucky. This was a really early nest box. It was installed in 2004, I believe. They moved in shortly after it was installed, and then they laid their first eggs and had a successful clutch in 2006.
It's been so interesting to watch over the years. Each nesting season is incredibly different. The falcon that's currently nesting at Mill Creek, based on her markings and her colorings, our employees and the KDFWR Avian Biologists have tracked her since 2006. An employee affectionately named her Diana after the goddess of the hunt. Since then, she's been Diana all through these years. As a mom myself, it is so interesting to see some of the habits and the activities, whether it's protecting the eggs or going out and getting food, watching the chicks sort of compete for her attention. Those are just things that, for me personally, I relate to as a mother myself.
The backup to help this banding process go smoothly for the chicks. Both the male and the female, especially the female, is going to be really, really protective. So the team that we have here on the roof is essentially bait. We're to serve as a distraction to get the female out of the box. And what that will do is allow the team that has gone up into the stack to insert a really thin barrier between the opening of the box and the inside of the stack, and that way it excludes mom and dad for the short time that the biologists will be in there and banding the chicks.
Nicely done.
We'll open up the box, we'll pull the chicks out, we put them in a little cardboard box that has cubbies in it, and then that just keeps them from getting too close to each other or hurting themselves accidentally. Oh, you're the cute one, aren't you?
We had to come during a certain time window because we have just about 5 days when the chicks are an appropriate age for us to band them.
All right, maybe one male, one female?
Yep.
Their bone structure is just about full grown at this age, but they're going to grow a lot of muscles and feathers before they learn to fly about 2 weeks from now. She's on to us now.
Yep, I'd say so.
Right now, let's see. Right now, mom is sitting on the landing pad and dad is circling around. Thankfully, the biologists work really quickly as make sure they minimize the stress to the adults, but they'll probably take turns switching off on the perch and just keeping an eye on things until they can open it back up.
Gloves for getting them out?
I probably would if I were you. They bite pretty hard at this age.
We'll pull them out individually. One of us will hold them. The other person will attach leg bands to both legs.
We cover their faces just to keep them nice and calm through the process. This one looks big, like it's probably a female. Females are bigger than the males. They have bigger feet, bigger legs. They also have a lower pitched voice. Yeah, definitely a female. We put a band on each leg. One of them is the same type of band that you'll see on Canada geese, around your neighborhood. It's got a 9-digit number on it. That number is unique for all birds banded nationwide.
All across the United States, people are looking for these leg bands, and they report them to a national database, essentially. And then they let us know when our birds are resighted, so we know that they're living. We can keep track of how many young they're producing as well.
Band locks on their legs, so they can't take it off.
And this way, we can really keep a close eye on the population. We know what survivorship's going to look like for individuals. If we have all of our banded birds that just aren't being resighted, we know that they probably aren't making it.
The other one is a color band that differentiates the birds when we look at them in a spotting scope. It's got a number and a letter on it and different colors, so that allows us to just see the bird or take a picture of the bird and tell that it's different from another bird.
These birds will move around. I mean, they won't necessarily stay in Kentucky. In fact, we've had birds go throughout the Midwest. It's interesting to find out if a bird shows up somewhere else and they can read the band number. We find out, oh, that's one of ours. That came from Kentucky.
We also test them for a disease that's kind of prevalent in Kentucky called trichomonas. They get it from the pigeons that they eat, and it causes a really bad inflamed throat. We test them for it because if they have it, we can treat them for it in the nest, and like to do everything we can to enhance their survival. Usually it isn't a problem to get their mouth open to do this swab. It's just like a strep throat swab. All right, this bird is done.
Since 1999, more than 170 falcons have been banded from the nest boxes managed by KDFWR at our generating stations.
So these birds are 25 days old. They hatched from an egg 25 days ago. They'll start flying about 2 weeks from now. So these brown feathers that are growing out from under the downy plumage are going to be what they look like when they're ready to fly. Boy, that one's considerably less chill than the last one.
When I started with Peregrine Falcon restoration, there were no nesting pairs. There was also no digital cameras and no internet. So what we had to do was largely by watching through binoculars or spotting scopes and trying to learn what we can. Now the technology is much better, but the Mill Creek Falcon Cam has brought falcon biology is something that anybody can watch. I mean, they can watch when the first eggs are laid, try to figure out when the first eggs are hatched, get to see the growth of the chicks, get to see what mom and dad are bringing in to feed the chicks. It is so fun. Even if you're not a bird watcher, this is something that's super entertaining. And it's helped us get some really valuable information on when nest timing happens in Kentucky and what they're being fed.
Our employees are so dedicated to providing a safe space for the peregrine falcons at our generating stations where we have nest box installed. And they really just enjoy being a part of this experience at our generating stations.
All right, so he's gonna lose all his white downy feathers over the next couple weeks, and he'll be flying. He'll be brown instead of gray, and like his parents are, and then he'll gradually turn gray over his first year.
It's not uncommon to have eggs that don't hatch. We'll have several each year throughout the state. What we do is we collect them and then we freeze them. We'll either send them to the Afield Museum in Chicago or the Cincinnati Natural History Museum, and they add those to their reference collections so that researchers can go look at those as references, you know, whatever project they're working on.
We're very grateful to receive funding each year from LG&E and KU that goes directly to our Peregrine Falcon activities, helps buy us equipment, and helps pay for our technicians' time to do this work.
We launched the Falcon webcam with KDFWR in 2013, and what really started as a unique project has grown into an award-winning initiative.
Oh, they just opened the box.
Oh, they
just
did.
opened. Yep. Oh, look at them.
All is well.
All is well.
With environmental stewardship and empowering education being such a key focus for us, we really saw over time this was such an incredible opportunity, because we've heard over the years, for instance, that teachers are tuning in to the webcam during the nesting season in their classrooms. You know, as part of our environmental stewardship to help protect the peregrine falcons by providing a safe area for them to nest. It also allows viewers to tune in near real time and watch the season unfold.
It's been an overwhelming success. You know, when I started, we had 0 peregrines nesting in Kentucky, and now, wow, there's more than we had historically. So it's been an overwhelming conservation success story.
Now let's check in and see who else has been out having fun in this week's Ones That Didn't Get Away. Here we have Andrew Probus with a 19-inch largemouth that he caught on a Cinco at a friend's lake in Campbellsburg, Kentucky. Nice job. Here we have Kurt Devine at Barkley Lake catching a crappie on a spider rig. He said this was his first one on a spider rig, but I bet it's not his last. Check out 15-year-old Caden Sipe with this huge blue catfish. This fish was caught on 8-pound test while crappie fishing. Said it took him over an hour and a half to get him in. The fish was then released. Nice job. Here we have Jeffrey Scott Wells with his grandson Garrett and a ton of bluegill caught from Barren River Lake. Nice job. Here we have 9-year-old Jarrett Bolin with his first longbeard. This turkey was taken while hunting in LaRue County. Nice job. Here we have Parker Pritchard with a nice 2-pound crappie caught at Kentucky Lake. This was his biggest crappie to date. Nice job. Here we have Robert Mason Dixon with a huge 50-pound blue catfish caught at Taylorsville Lake. This fish was caught on cut bait and was released. Nice job. Check out Grayson Bailey with this huge crappie caught in a pond in Hart County. Wow, what a fish. Summer is here, making this the perfect time to plan your next kayak trip. For more information, check out Blue Water Trails or download the free Fishboat KY app to choose a stream near you. And remember, hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner. Until next week, I'm your host, Chad Miles, and I hope to see you in the woods or on the water.